I give all the orders to my mom though. She's the one like for crowning. She's the one. That's why I'm like this. Me? Nothing. What are you doing?
Is there a class fee?
Okay. Can you ask grandma to send me a key or maybe somebody. But I'm gonna be on stage right now. Cup right there on the prashadam part, and there's water right there. You know how to do it. So precious. Oh, no pressure. You gonna talk about? Yeah. You are. I'm on the stage. Are you gonna talk about sewing? All right. Cool. Sangee's with the kids.
We have no plans.
You don't need one. I mean,
You haven't thought about it at all?
We're just supposed to
Wing it.
I mean, it's your whole life. You don't really have to think about it. Talk about your life.
Ananda's gonna direct us.
Oh, yes, good. I have some thoughts, but they'll probably take about 5 seconds to say.
No, they won't.
There's Mohini. Hello.
Dandavats, devotees of the Lord. We are here in the Pandal for Sri Govinda Mela 2025, and you're in for a treat. Really, a secret kept, a best kept secret with Shri Shranangi Devi and Shri Vaidehi Devi and Shri Mohini Devi, Krishna Mohini Devi. Come on. We're going to talk about the service on the sewing room. The service to sewing, the beautiful outfits to the Lordships of Sri Chaitanya, Saraswat, Seva, Ashram, and Soquel, and many more. Yeah. So I want you guys to really help me to welcome to the stage, and that's a congrats I will take. If you want to congrats me, because it's so hard to bring them to the stage. They're very humble. And Malik is coming. And thank you. I will take that one. And they have a beautiful sewing room that it's been blessed by many years. So if you beg, not so much, they will let you in and see all the beautiful paraphernalia that will go serve the Lordships. Come on. And we have the beautiful Malika Devi, Didi Ki Jai. So this is the dream team of Soquel Ashram. And with that, so how are we going to do? So what we are talking about inside the Seva and the sewing room, it is to understand what is that service and what is the mood, what are the skills you need to have, or you don't need to have, you're going to acquire them. And above all, this is going to work with questions. So they're really requesting you to share your questions with them so you can help us to bring all these beautiful stories to life. So with that, Sharanangi Devi, I want you to start by introducing everybody and how they came to the sewing room. Maybe you can tell your own story, how you came to the sewing room, Seva. And with that, after that, we're gonna start the questions.
Okay. Dandavats, everybody. My beginning in this Seva started with Srila Gurudev. He wrote to me, still have the letter, it's one of those aerograms, and he said, the deities are coming, necessary to prepare. That was it. And I still have that. And then that was before they actually came, and then I ended up in India, and it was actually happening while I was there. They were getting packed up, and that's a whole story unto itself. But we had started a store here, and Kevala Bhakti Didi, who's not here this year so far, but she donated boxes and boxes and boxes of clothes to start a store, like saris and dhotis and kids' clothes and everything else. She says, I'm giving this to you, you sell it, you can have a little business, and the devotees can buy the clothing they need, and you put the money back into it, blah, blah, blah. And at that time, we were going pretty much every year, and so we would just replenish and keep that going. So I'm in India, and I have the money. We're actually in Vrindavan, and it's like, now the deities are actually leaving. Do I take this money and buy clothes for the devotees, or do I buy things for the deities? Buy for the deities, because we had nothing. So we had to buy cloth, we had to buy shoes, we had to buy flute, we had, like everything. So we ended up with a small chest of cloth that was treasure. Because if you sew for the deities, especially bigger deities in the West, it's not so easy to find appropriate cloth in the regular fabric stores. We're lucky here in this area. We have a huge Indian community in the Silicon Valley, which attracts the Indian vendors, and there's so many fabric and sari shops, and we have a wide choice of selection. Anyway, they came. That cloth came, and then it was like, well, we have to make an outfit. We had to wait to get patterns. What are their size? Where do we start? And I tried really hard to find anybody else to do this. And we finally got the patterns, and then there was maybe 4 or 5 other devotees that, somebody made a chadar, and somebody worked on a kurta, and somebody made it, like all that. And we took the best cloth that we had, what we thought was the most beautiful, we had a couple Benares silk chadars, and they were just gorgeous fabric, like, top of the line. But they were chadars, so they weren't huge, but they were in kind of a turquoise blue with some red, and we thought, well, this is what we're going to use. This is the nicest that we had. And the only patterns we had no idea what size to make a dhoti. I had no access to the deities directly. I couldn't go and measure them myself. Dara Brahma deity made some patterns for us and gave us some measurements, but it took a while for us to get those. The patterns we got were for pants. And so we made pants, and from both Mahaprabhu and Giridhari, and everybody was wearing this blue and red and gold, and it was very pretty, but it took us 3 months to make an outfit. Gurudev's here the day before the installation. We presented the outfit to Gurudev, and he looked at me and he said, Krishna's wearing pants? Mahaprabhu's wearing pants? Krishna's wearing blue? And I'm dying. This took us 3 months, 4 or 5 people, and this is the best we could do. And the day before, there was no other way around it. We had to offer these, and he accepted it. He changed tone, and he accepted it, and the installation went on, and they looked beautiful. But then maybe a couple days later, I went up to him and I said, Gurudev, what should we have done? And he said, their traditional colors is Krishna wears yellow, Mahaprabhu wears gold, and Gandharvika, she wears blue. And I didn't know that. Everybody knows that Krishna wears a yellow dhoti, and Mahaprabhu, I can understand saying the word gold, but I didn't understand what the color gold was. Because there's metallic gold, but what's gold as a color? And Gandharvika, I always thought, coming from ISKCON, the color that she wears on the cover of the Krishna book, she wears red. So I was kind of related, like that was a traditional color for her, but no, it's blue. So she was dressed appropriately, but and there was some flowers in the room, some roses, and there was a bright yellow, like think lemon yellow rose, and then one that was more like a deeper golden color. And I said, Gurudev, is this yellow and is this gold? And he picked up an orange and a lemon, and he goes, this is Krishna, the lemon, and the orange, this is Mahaprabhu. So then we knew, okay, so the next outfit was in those colors. And we sent pictures, and we were okay then. And still at this time, I kept telling everybody, you want to sew for the deities? Can you make another outfit? Can you help? Can you help? Can you help? And it just fell on me that became my seva. And over the years, many different people have helped. Krishna Mohini, when she was around, you helped. And one outfit we wore just last week, Monica put it on. It's called Across the Universe. It's white and yellow, and we made that outfit here in 2004 when Gurudev was here for his birthday. And I went to him and I said, we're making a new outfit for the deities for your birthday. What color do you want? What should they wear? And he said, white with yellow. And I said, silver or gold? And he goes, gold. And so we made that, but that happened to be a time when he was here while we were making it. You made the belt, Krishna Mohini.
The bumblebee outfit?
No, it's white with, well,
I remember.
yeah. The bumblebee was inspired by a comment that Gurudev made. Because he told me once he went to see the deities in Navadip, God, brain dead. Mahaprabhu's wife, what's her name? Vishnupriya's deity. He said he went to see her one day, and Mahaprabhu was wearing yellow with black stars. And he said it was very beautiful. And I asked if they could wear black. Like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described that Srimati Radharani wears a black sari with a pink choli. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Gurudev, can we do that? And he goes, no, the deities don't wear black. But he said that you can have black accent, like at Vishnupriya's temple. And so over the years, I received that, to finish up this story, Across the Universe, many, many, many hands helped in that. It was white cloth, and every ornament was hand beaded by a devotee. So the turban, Raiki Shori made the turban, and there were all these little kind of medallions that were all hand beaded, and it, we can't retire that outfit. It probably should be retired, but there's too much emotion attached to it. We can't retire it. But over the years, eventually I accepted that this is my seva. And it's all, I have to honestly say that throughout the years, it's been a protective blanket for me. I often describe it as that, because that's my seva. And if I just, sometimes life will come and slap you in the face and try and distract you, and you just have to go back to your seva. My seva needs to get done. I have to push this aside, deal with it one way or another. But I have to do this seva, and that has kept me focused and protected and like that.
I love that.
But I can't do it by myself, all of it. And so I need help, and I'm getting, my capacity is dwindling. So I have been blessed to have some beautiful associates that come and help me. And we rely on the instructions we got from Gurudev over the years. I would, when he was healthy and alive, I was going almost every year, and then I would shop. I didn't buy specifically for anything. I would just go shopping and buy what I liked. And he gave me many instructions. When you think of the deities, think bright colors. When you think of crowns, get big crowns. And, the colors, and he told me what colors. Sometimes I'd buy cloth. He would arrange for me. One day I got caught. He was out he used to go out in the afternoons and visit his friends. This was in Dum Dum Park. And so I took advantage of that time, went up to the veranda because there was only like 1 or 2 phones in the whole compound. And so there was a phone book in Gurudev's veranda, and I went to this is before the internet. So I went to the phone book and I was looking up where to, silk wholesalers or sari so where can I go in Calcutta and find, other than going to the retail shops where they're going to charge you 3 times what is normally should be charged, where can I find a better source? And I got caught. Gurudev came home while I'm sitting there with the phone book. He goes, Didi, what are you doing? What are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for a place to buy cloth to make the clothes for the deities. And he goes, can you use saris? And I said, yes.
Ooh.
And he said, I have a friend. He is a Sanskrit teacher. One of his students, her father owns a wholesale sari shop. Would you like me to arrange for you to go there and go shopping there? And I'm like, yes, Gurudev. And so he arranged we took his sumo, and his driver took us, and a few other devotees went with me. And I'm not sure, I think Madhavendra might have, were you with us one time when we went shopping at a wholesale sari shop? Did you go to India with us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's like a few different people sometimes. It's just his sumo, so it's only a couple of people. But we go to this place, and, they had all these saris, all different kinds. And Gurudev had told me one time I showed him a sari I bought. It was a synthetic Benares sari. And they're beautiful. They're just not very expensive because they're synthetic. And so I'm thinking 6 yards of fabric for $13. Ooh. And I showed it to Gurudev, and he liked it. And he said, but Didi, it's not necessary to always be so opulent. Sometimes in the village in Navadip, the villagers will give a white sari with a border, and it's very beautiful. I tried that one year, making a very simple sari, and all the devotees were like, So we tried to find our balance from the east to the west and harmonize with that. But every time I went shopping, I had to show him everything I bought. You go through each thing, and sometimes he would say, this is for Gandharvika, Mahaprabhu can wear that. And then one time I asked him, what days of the year should we make outfits for? And he listed them off. And when we got to like Julan Yatra, which was the 9th one, I'm kind of panicking a little internally. Because even now it takes us a good 2 months to make an outfit. And Julan Yatra is 3 days long. It's the swing festival, which hardly gets noticed. Because, there's this Sahaja group in Navadip that does this, and Guru Maharaj is like, no, we don't even, we're not doing that. And so it comes and goes, and we hardly ever notice it. And that's one of the main days of the year we should make a new outfit for. I'm kind of panicking a little. And it's 3 days long. It ends on Balaram's appearance day, which is one of the 9 days. And then a week later is Janmashtami, which is the main day. The next day is Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, which is the main day. And 2 weeks later is Radhastami. So we got 5 days in like 2.5 weeks. And it's like, I can't do that. And I said, if it's not possible to make an outfit, can we offer jewelry, something? And he said, yes, something new for each deity must be. Like, that's the tradition in India. If you're there at a special day, like especially Gurpurnim, Gurudev would give new cloth to everyone that was serious, not just visiting, but living there and taking shelter of him. He gave everyone new cloth to wear. And that they'd all come out in their shiny cloth on the festival time. So that's just part of the culture. And we've tried to honor that as best we can. And so with all that mercy that was given to me, I've just felt like that has protected me from so many things that my mind can distract me on, that the whole external world can try and drag me away from. And so we have this treasure room, the sewing room. It's when I'm in there, it's my happy place, my safe place. And we just put lectures on the whole time. We're either listening to Kirtan, we're listening to Gurudev, we're listening to Guru Maharaj, we're listening to Prabhupada, or our current sannyasis, whatever recordings we have or whatever's streaming. and that sets the tone. And so with that as our guide, we pray, and this team, these ladies are so creative and they're so sincere, and we somehow or other seem to work together with our own individual creativity, because everybody has a different style and they're drawn in a different way, but somehow there's a high amount of respect and trust in each other, and we're able to let everybody can kind of have their own area where they can express their own creativity, but we keep it in harmony with each other. And so Krishna Mohini, she helps me, she makes Giridhari's dhoti perfectly. Like, she's measuring and she's folding, and those pleats, those folds, they're perfect. She makes Gandharvika's slip, and now that Gauranga Sundar's here, she sews his outfit too. And she's very meditative and cautious and careful, and is always thinking he's smaller, so the proportions have to be adjusted, and and it's like, but she wants to have a little bit of what Gandharvika is wearing, a little bit of what Giridhar is wearing, and Mahaprabhu, but trying to harmonize them all into one, and it's just really beautiful. And then Malika, for years now, she's been sewing for Mahaprabhu, and she has a full life. She's just graduated with her master's degree, which she's been working on for a long time. Now she's working full time. And she's a mother and a wife and has a whole life that's taking up a lot of her time and energy. But when she comes into the sewing room, there's a certain, not really a sigh, but you can kind of see this, let all that go. And she's just happy, and when she connects, you can kind of see it. I don't know if it's like a switch or a light bulb or what, but when she's able to like really let everything go and really focus on it, she's got this elegant sense of style. And she will find ways that I can't think of that she's, oh, let's do it. Like, can I do that? And I'm like, yes. And, it's like she's really, really got a quality in her vision when serving Mahaprabhu. And Vaidehi's been had some connection to the service since she was a teen.
Yeah.
She started doing the wigs for the deities when she was, 13 or something, and did them until she went to college. And got her degree in fashion design. So she can construct patterns, and pattern drafting is hard. You need really good math skills. We're talking 3-dimensional forms that don't move. They don't bend their arms to, get inside those sleeves. You have to figure out how you're going to make it fit. And, it's like Mahaprabhu looks a little symmetrical, but he's not, And every deity is completely different. And they have their own mood. And one of the main things is you need their permission to enter into the Seva. You can't just do it. You may have technical skills up the wazoo, but if you don't have the deity's permission, you cannot do the service. Needles will break. There's not enough thread. It's like, it just doesn't work. And we can spend hours telling you all the obstacles you overcome when your head's not screwed on properly. So Vaidehi and I just spent the last 2 years trying to serve the deities in Italy. Krishnakanta wrote us before the deities even arrived, can you please make an outfit for their lordships? And we're like, yes, we'd be honored, but we need measurements. And so we're talking back and forth, and fortunately for me, I have this skilled person here. We're writing as detailed as we could. The questions, we need this measurement, we need this, and you have to start somewhere, so you need some of that. And you're communicating with someone who doesn't sew, and so, it's a lot of back and forth and time change and busy life and all that, but they just received the outfit. So we haven't tried it on yet, so they're not sure if it fits, so we still haven't release that breath that we're still holding emotionally, but we're praying that it fits. But a lot of the obstacle comes from thinking like mechanically that, we just do this and it's just this size and this, but really you need the blessing, you need the mercy to enter into the Seva. And so it's more about that than anything else. And you'll find if you get that mercy, ideas just flow. Sometimes people show up at, here, I have a gift for you. I just came back from India. This is a donation for the deities, and that's the next outfit. I have cloth that I've had for 20 years that hasn't revealed its use yet, and everything in between. And sometimes it just takes one thing to spark an entire outfit, and it can be absolutely anything, from a movie, from a kid's toy to, some color combination, some floral. Can we do this flower or what? You just don't know. You have to be open to it, and you have to really pray. And for myself, if I don't have a heart connection to it, I can't move. I can't even start till I can see where we're going. I have to feel it. If it doesn't feel right, sometimes I'll just put piles of cloth on a table and walk by them and move them around, take that one out, put another one in, and they'll come in and they go, what about this color, and what about that, can we do this? And finally we'll get to the same page, and then we're all able to move forward. And then it, with blessings, it happens. And now we have the opportunity to actually go on the altar and measure the deities and adjust it before we offer it, whereas before it was guesswork. We had to stand in the temple room, and I think that needs about an inch off of that, and it's always an adventure, and it's really, really beautiful, and I feel really honored and blessed to have this Seva, and even more so, I'm very honored and blessed to have these beautiful ladies assisting me in it. So I'd like to hear from them now. So does this just slide out, Prabhu? Oh, maybe
Jai! Oh, yeah. Are you feeling shy? Yeah.
Oh.
You say something. I want to hear your voice.
No, I want to hear yours.
Okay. Oh, okay. Closer. I want to say that one of my favorite things about sewing in the sewing room is getting Sharanangi's association. It's really, really special. But yeah, the Lord, the relationship with the deity that you're sewing for is very real and dynamic. And when I'm like in the beginning of doing something, a lot of the times I'll get a vision of some color or some idea, and then I'll take that, and I feel like it's not coming from me, but it's up to me to take that and run with it and feel what direction it wants to go. But it's a very real dynamic thing, and if I try to push my own idea and change it, it just won't work. It's like the weirdest thing. You're thinking this is an inanimate object. How can it not work? It just doesn't. You sew it in the wrong direction, or it's amazing. If you just pay attention, you have so many opportunities to surrender over and over again and just feel how real that service is with the Lord. The other thing that I thought was really amazing, the past year and a half, Sharanangi was mentioning how we were sewing for the deities in Italy, because they had new deities, but they didn't have a pattern. So there was like a Ukrainian devotee who made an outfit, sort of sketched a pattern roughly, but they didn't have the measurements. A lot of the things were missing. And when I went in to work with her on it, I saw that she had almost a queue of all these different ashrams all over the world that want her to make an outfit for their new deities. And not just at this moment, but in the past, she had Ecuador and this temple and that temple. And for so many years, we would go to India to see Gurudev, or Gurudev would come here, and it created this sense of community. And when he left our vision, that sense of community felt a little bit dispersed and a little less together. And I realized that in this way, we're still staying connected to this worldwide mission through this service of sewing for the deities and making patterns for the deities all over the world. And it's such a unique service, like she said, because they don't move. So you can't imagine how challenging it can be to sew and create a pattern for something that is not symmetrical and doesn't like lift your arm and put it in the sleeve. You just have to create all these different closures to accommodate them, and every deity is different, like she said. So I feel like when I go into the sewing room, I feel like I'm under her shelter, but I also feel like I'm connected to the worldwide mission, which is so special. Yeah. So I'm gonna, hi.
When you get a request from another temple to sew for their deities, these are deities that don't have a pattern yet, or do they send you their patterns, or
We'd like that.
Can you repeat the question?
would you
You have
make
to
the patterns,
repeat the
usually
question,
make the
guys,
patterns
because
yourself?
it's not in the
Oh.
microphone. Yeah.
Okay, the question was if we get a request.
Like when you got a request from, obviously from Italy, they didn't have patterns, but like from Ecuador, where else, did you give patterns, or did you always make a pattern for every new deity, for every new outfit you made?
The question is if we get a request to make an outfit for deities from a different temple, does it the request come from a pattern, or do we always make a pattern?
Right. Did they ever send you the pattern?
Sometimes we did get patterns from Italy, but they didn't fit well, and we couldn't even identify what some of them were for. And they were just, I think everybody was because what Vi said, it's hard.
Thank you.
And so, you've got a shape that is inflexible to our eyes, and you have to figure out how to make them look like they're wearing, garments. So we have what we've done in the past is we've requested measurements. We have like a sheet that we send, give us these measurements, and we try to explain it as coherently as we can. And then we take those measurements. Usually they come in centimeters, and we have to convert it. And sometimes there's typos. Like one time I had in London, I got one of the deities' wrist was about this big. And I thought, no, that's not right. And so there's back and forth, right? And so what we've done for several is we'd make a mock-up just out of cotton, simple cotton. And even the neckline, we would just cut it on the seam line without the seam, cut the seam allowance off. Because we just need to know, is this where it should lay? And then they give it back to us with markings or pins, or they'll, make their adjustments. We did that twice with Italy.
Yeah.
And then once we get that back, then we have a little bit more of we're a little more comfortable beginning,
So the second part of my question is, should I send you the patterns that we already have?
I have been waiting for years to get that Seva. I've never been given entrance into the Seva of sewing from a Hopperboo in Salt Lake. We asked many times, but we never got a pattern.
We always feel like you must be so busy.
Well, I'm very limited. It took us 2 years.
I knew it was going to happen.
I have no patterns, Dee My capacity is dwindling, but we will always take the Seva. You just have to be patient with us as to how long it takes us to do it. Because we would love to be able to serve at least once. At least once. Excuse me? If you give us a pattern that fits, we'd be so happy.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to do it from a distance. It's a lot of guesswork and a lot of prayer. It's always a lot of prayer, but if we have a pattern, it makes it a lot easier. But we are limited in our capacity also, and we would just ask for patience and time. And when we have a period of time, then we can fit it in, and then we're okay, for this period of time, we're just going to focus on this. And whoever of this team can help, we might all take a part of it, or, do it all together separately or whatever. And, and that'll be our focus. I've tried in the past to work on 2 at the same time. It does not work. My brain doesn't work that way. And I get them mixed up, and it's not good.
I have Lilo. My littlest was in school just 3 days a week, and I had maybe 2.5 hours. So 2.5 hours, 1 day a week. That's all I had, and that was the time that Shonagi had to focus on making this pattern and then the outfit for Italy. And so it did take quite a lot of time because my time and availability was limited, you know,
Yeah.
as well. So
And we make our version of the patterns according to what measurements we had, and then make a mock-up and send it to them, and then they had to get it back to us, and then we had to make an adjustment to all that, make a second one and send it, and you know, it takes time.
which is so sweet because there were so many people involved in the transportation of these outfits. I think Rai Kishori and Sudarshan brought one back, and my mother-in-law, my Heshvari, brought one to Italy now. Anyway, it's been so fun.
Yeah, it's a blessing for us to share. We've received so much. You know, the sewing room is full. There's just so amazingly, every drawer is full. We have drawers of trim in all different colors, and when we're looking for that right trim, sometimes it's not there, and we're like, what the heck, how can we have a drawer that's overflowing with red trim but we don't have the right one? It's like, you know, we have so much wealth, we want to share it. We have some talent, we want to share it. We're limited on time, so we're honored to be able to utilize what we've received and share it. You know, and I do want to say one thing. I think I've told this story before, like what Vi was saying. Years ago, we made an outfit. It was red and purple, and I had it all figured out in my head. Okay, I got this cloth, you know, and I think what I had is red on Mahaprabhu and purple on Giridhari, and she was wearing both, and I kept breaking needles and sewing it inside out, and everything was going wrong. Like everything that could possibly go wrong was going wrong. I'm like, oh my God. And I just turned off all the lights, unplugged everything, grabbed my japa beads, went in front of the deities. It's like, you know, it's this, your Seva, you know, like, please allow me entrance into this Seva. You please guide me. I don't know how to move forward. I'm stuck. And just like trying to take it away from my own intelligence, or that's limited too, but like my own ability to execute this task, but I need the blessings from you. You please allow me to do this Seva. And then bing, you know, it's like, put the red on Giridhari. And then once I did that, the whole thing just flew. I mean, it was just so smooth. But it was like, they didn't want that. And the deities will tell you, you know, now that we're dressing the deities, like, you think these earrings go with the outfit, but they keep throwing them off, you know? And you're like, you put it back and he drops it again. It's like, okay, I'll take the tray of earrings out. Which ones do you want to wear? And then some inspiration will come to you and you put those ones on, and now we're good, you know? But the deities are real. And like Ramai, when he was here in one of the first Govinda Melas, he was talking about it. And like, what is it like? You know, it's so intense. Going on the altar is very intense. And like, how do you adjust all that? And he said, at first it's very mechanical. You're counting how many circles you're making and all like that. And he said, but after a while you realize that you're there with your best friend and well-wisher. And it's sometimes you get a little glimpse of that feeling, you know, like they're taking care of us. They're here to help us. You know, it's like they're allowing us to serve them, which helps us. The more we serve them, then the more we can grow in our spiritual life. And it's not mechanical. It's not about show dressing, you know, like window dressing, you know. It's fun. It's creative and working with beautiful colors and designs and everything, but it's so much more than that. That's just kind of an added bonus, really.
One of the things I thought was so sweet too was how many items that they sew that you don't see. Like the deities have bedding, they have undergarments, they have slips, and the girirajas and Tulsi's skirt, and there's a cloth underneath the parampara, and every outfit she makes a lot of those elements, and nobody sees them except the person on the altar maybe, or the person dressing them. And it's like a level of devotion that is so intimate and so private. It's not for anybody else, and it's just like this little rose on her skirt, like she's the only one who's gonna see that. and what kind of fabric is going to feel nice and the lining against their skin, and what direct, like it's just such a sweet service. Like you would, like the Gurudev said, when you're doing puja, it's like your child. It's so much like that, and that level of love and devotion.
Yeah, he did tell us to think of the deities as our children. And I think of that...
Closer to your mouth.
Closer, okay. Okay, sorry. That you wouldn't let your child go out. You bathe your child every day. You feed your child every day. You're not going to let their hair get all matted, Those kind of things. That's the kind of the mercy that we have, the blessing that we have. We get to take care of them in that way. But maybe we can coax Mohini to say a little something. Every year, this was because we weren't allowed on the altar. We weren't so aware of a lot of the things that were going on behind the scenes. And one day, Ramai asked me, he said, can we get new bedding for the deities? And I'm like, oh my God, it was like something that was off my radar altogether because I never see the beds, And then we realized that they were getting worn out. So then we decided, okay, we never make anything new for their anniversary. So every year on the deity's installation anniversary, Krishna Mohini makes new bedding for them. And it's really beautiful. And this year she really meticulously nailed her patterns and everything. And can you say a little bit about that? Okay.
Dandavastavarism. So, by my Gurudev's grace, when I got here, 10 years ago, Swarnangi allowed me to start sewing, to do some Mirdanga covers. And I think that's how I started to sew here. And I remember I only knew a few words in English, and I would repeat the same questions over and over to Swarnangi. She was really kind and really sweet and really like my aunt. Like I really felt like family. And that's how I started sewing here. And then she asked me if I wanted to do a little bit more. And I started sewing, like she said, for doing the doris, doing the slip for Gandharvika. And then she says, you want to do the bedding for the deities? And it's one of my favorite service because I'm the only one who do it, so I get to be in the sewing room on my own. And it's really nice because I put the classes, and I really feel like I with Gurudev there, and I talk by myself and ask him if he will be. I think this will be nice. I think this decoration will be better. No, maybe this way. And I think it's really special for me. I mean, that's how I feel. I learned to sew from my grandma from when I was very little. When I was 4 or 5, she put me on the ground with a little needle and a piece of fabric to do little pillowcases. And that's how I learned to sew. She also has sewn for deities before, but the only deities I really have sewn is for the deities here in Soquel. And I'm very happy and very fortunate to have the shelter of Swarnangi Didi, who helped me so much, and she knows so much about sewing and has so many tools, and I really feel like a little kid when I go into the sewing room, like a kid going into the candy store. For me, it's like going into the sewing room because there are so many tools, so many fabrics, and it's an explosion of creation. I really feel it's like that for all of us here. And I also feel very connected because I have the opportunity to connect with Malika, with Vaidehi, who, I don't know, is really special. One thing is doing service with, your friends or the devotees around you, but doing it with the devotees, you can connect in the level that I feel that I can connect with Swarnangi or with Malika or even with Vaidehi, who, it's just, it's not just we're doing a spiritual life. It's not just we're very serious. It's it's also fun, it's finding this this ruchi, this really little sweet of it, this little way of enjoying this beautiful service that we have been drawn to it, because I really feel like I've been drawn by it, by first of all my Gurudev put in my grandma, tried to teach me from the very age when I was very young, and then bring me here with Swarnangi, who I really feel like, I really feel like it's my aunt or like another mother for me, especially because I get to have these conversations about sewing with her, like I get to do it with my mom who also sews, or like I do with my grandma. I send her pictures of what I'm sewing to my grandma. I ask questions to her. I make video calls if I'm sewing in the sewing room, and she tells me, or when she calls me, she is like, you asked me this question last week, or you told me maybe you can do this. So I really feel there is a service connection with my family too. So that is also why it's so special and important for me. So I feel that they are really like my sisters from blood, and like my aunt with Sonangi, and I am very fortunate. I really feel lucky. I really appreciate all their affection and, their guidance. And I really feel that this because of Guru that have put them in my life, because none of this wouldn't be possible without him.
I also am very grateful for your grandma, because there's this one sewing machine. It's called a serger, and it's really hard to thread, and it saves you hours of time if it's threaded. And Krishna Mohini is an expert at it, and it's because
my
of your
favorite
grandmas. Anyway, I'm very grateful.
It's a very detailed machine to like very like it's not that easy to thread it, because it's very like 4 different threads, but for me it's like I really, when I do it, it's just like the funnest thing for me to do. It's like real meditation for me. It's fun, and yeah.
I also get really inspired seeing their designs of Malika and Krishna Mohini. We're friends, and we talk and we have fun about our lives and everything, but then when I see them and what they can create, it's so inspiring, and I just have like a whole different level of respect for each of them, to see what's in their heart and what comes out for the Lord. Do you want me to swoosh this, or let's see if it's
Jai. Jai. And one little quick thing I just want to mention about Krishna Mohini is, since she took on the sewing seva for the bedding, throughout the year she'll see something, she'll go, oh, maybe we can use that for the bedding. It's like always on her mind. It's just so super sweet. And the service has a way of infiltrating into your life when you're out in the world, and you're like, ooh, we got to do that color combination.
I just really feel that service has saved my life, like Swarnangi says, so many times. And like you get into the sewing room, at least for me, and I know for some of them that we talk about this, it's like you get there, and it's definitely our happy place. And then whatever is behind the door, stay there. It just stays out, like no matter what it is, no matter how chaotic, like material life, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. But just what is inside that sewing room, inside those 4 walls, is you with your service, and even if it's just half an hour, if it's just 15 minutes, if it's just 2 hours, if it's 3 hours, whatever amount of time it is, it's just you with Gurudev, with a little bit of intention, or at least trying to do what we're drawn to do, in our service. But it's just how that little bit of time, like by day he was saying, she only had 2.5 hours a week, but those 2.5 hours a week can carry you into the next week, because they recharge your batteries so much that they can last that long. And if you had to pass the next week, it can carry you for 2 weeks. But it's just that for me, it's not how much time I can go into the sewing room. For me, it's at least I can go there, even if it's just to go and measure a thread, or like I had an idea when I went to bed, because I went to bed thinking about this, and it was like I need to go there and I need to put it with a pin, what I saw and what I thought I could do. Next time I go to sew, come 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but that is just those 5 minutes so important for me. It's not how long the time it is, but how important the little time it is for me there.
So beautiful. Yeah, Dandavats, I don't even know what to add because I really share all these sentiments that you guys already shared, and I'm just feeling incredibly lucky to be a part of this service, and I don't even know how that happened because you guys are pretty much like trained professional sewers, been sewing your whole life. I don't know, it was just such a mercy for me to...
Yes.
I said yes, and I learned to sew at school because I had to, because it was part of a home ec class, and I hated that class, and I was like, I will never sew in my life. I will buy all my things. I don't know why I need that skill, but it appeared to be a life-saving skills because this world, like this service and this world is just when you literally leave everything out the door and you're so focused and you're so inspired, and it's like it really saved me from so many emotional disturbances over so many years, and I could not be more grateful to Sharanagiriri for accepting me. When I got here 17 years ago, I had an idea that I want to do that because I got a taste of it in St. Petersburg at the Lakhta temple, just working on jewelry and just embroidering here and there. And then when I got here, Sharanagi gave me a test. Do you remember?
No, what test?
A test was to make belts for their lordships.
Oh.
And that was my first project.
Was that the gold one?
Yeah, the gold one with pearls. And I was like, okay, this is it for me. I have to nail that because if I don't pass this test, I don't know how I'm gonna connect to service here. Nothing else really attracted me at that point. And I put everything into that. And we still have those belts, which is amazing for me. I still look at them like, oh my God, I can't believe that, that happened that way. I went to San Francisco for the beads. It was like such a process for me to select all the beads and plan it all out. And after that, Sharanagi accepted me. And
When you see these belts, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And then dressing the deities and getting to see the clothes on them.
Yeah, that's a completely different type of blessing.
Yeah.
And it's definitely such a process, and I'm looking. I do have busy life. Whatever material world kind of took me into throws a lot of stuff at me. But every Saturday morning, I try to be here and just connect however I can and just offer what I can, and it keeps me going. And just like I'm always in awe at Sharanangi's creativity, which is unending. It's like you have such a wealth of ideas all the time, and I aspire to that. It doesn't exhaust, and I hope that we can just keep going for many, many years and get other projects from other lordships from all over the world. Yeah.
Now you see why they're my dream team.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
Because sometimes devotees will go to India and they'll have some. Sometimes devotees will go.
I was just thinking about devotees. Sometimes we'll go to India and they'll bring back an outfit that's been made in India, like the jewelers. You just have to sew it up. And I always tell them, I'd rather a Sharanangi outfit.
Well, we have been blessed with some of those sometimes, but whenever we have bought outfits from India, we specifically request that most of it not be sewn.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Her skirt, we can give, make it this long and that wide.
Right, right.
But the kurtas, everything else, we ask them not to stitch it, just do the embroidery.
Right.
Because then we can make it to fit. Because otherwise, they fall apart too.
But I'm just really just talking about the design. I love Sharanangi outfits. That's just it. You know, like they're so colorful, they're so beautiful, and they're so. I was like, how does she think to put those colors together? But anyway, I also wanted to say one day I was making something that you'd given me something to work on at home, and I had a friend come over and they were bummed out about something, and I remember looking at them saying, "You just need a hobby." But as soon as I said that, because I was working on this out, I thought, "Oh, this is so much more than a hobby. This is like so satisfying, so wonderful." Yeah. Anyway, thank you for giving me service way back when.
Well, you always do beautiful beading.
I actually have a question for all of us, but especially for Malika and Mohini. But Sharanangi, if we have guests, so devotees in our community, or devotees who are here just visiting, what is the qualification in which you have to do service with you guys?
With us.
Yeah, to do service in the sewing. No, you also have your experience, right?
Oh.
Well, you can tell us, but like, if I know zero of sewing and I want to learn the Seva and do the Seva, what would you advise me to?
Learn to sew.
Yeah.
I don't take anybody in that doesn't know how to sew. I can't start there. I've had requests, I'd like to learn to sew. I can't teach you how to sew. If you know how to sew, I can share with you what we've learned, the processes, the techniques that we use. And they're not like rules that you have to do it this way, but we've figured out certain ways of assembling an outfit together that work for us. Happy to share that, happy to share the service, but I can't teach someone from scratch. You need to know how to use a sewing machine. And
if you do know how to use the sewing machine, how long is a good time to have a project with you?
You have to be here. Yeah. You have to spend time. It's not a short-term project. It takes us Jai Avadut Maharaj. It takes us at least 2 to 3 months to make an outfit. So it's not something that can be done in a weekend. I mean, you could maybe help with some small part of it, but and we have done, like Krishna Mohini said, if you have the skill to do hand sewing, beading and whatnot, we have sent projects home that you can take home and do the beads at home. Usually when I design an outfit, I have to figure out who's helping, what help do I have, because I'm not going to design something that's going to take 40, 50 hours of handwork when I don't have the person to do that. So it's a lot of that, It's not impossible to put in the mail a little package. We've done it. We had one outfit where we did hand-beaded peacock feathers. We did over 100 feathers. And that took a lot of time. You have to take each feather. The technique we use is we get them wet, and you thread the beads onto the individual feathers. And you have to be very careful because they fall off quite easily. But you get them all on, and then you line it up, whatever shape you're going to leave it, and glue it, and then trim them. And that, we had maybe 8 or 10 people help with that. And we sent packages off and, showed them, gave them one that was started and gave the instructions. And we were totally down for that, But you have to have some basic skill. And if someone wants to come here and stay here and help at the ashram and learn some things, if you have the basics, you're welcome. We'll find some. We definitely got projects for you.
Oh, I wanted to add, it seems, does it work? Is it working? Okay. That you have to be willing to collaborate. And yeah, because we do have, like Sharangi said, our own creativity styles and stuff, but we do come together and we collaborate on the end design and the end vision. Yeah, it has to harmonize. So, and I think that's an important quality.
Yeah. And
Okay. Yeah, I think you had to be very you had to be respectful, willing to be humble, willing to take the opinion of the other person to into an account, and negotiate. It's a lot of back and forth between us, but mainly is really a lot of respect and appreciation, and and we really see us not just like we're doing this Seva, but we see us as like Swarnagi was saying, as whoever it is. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a sister, she's trying her best, and we'll never criticize each other, and we always trying to support each other. You cannot come, no worries, we make a meeting, something happen, life happen, and it's not why you didn't come. It's like, okay, so how can I support you? What I can help you? We can reschedule. It's not just the service for us, between us. I really feel that it's a life support for us. I really feel that. So I think that's the main core of being able to part of the sewing team and the Soquel Ashram. A lot of respect, a lot of appreciation, and not just in our service, but in our lives in general. Not that and then we try our best. That is, I think, what we always had in front. Okay, whatever she's saying to me, maybe it's not what I thought. Maybe it's like, but I think my idea is better. But if she's saying it and put it out, I know that she knows that I can accept it with respect, and we can make to a middle point. But it's fun. I don't know. We make it really fun. I really feel that we make it fun. We're very fortunate. We're really fortunate to have Swarnagi, because she's the one who had created the mood in the sewing room, and she had the pattern of behaving between our team. So I think that's what you need, part of what you need to have to come on board.
also, commitment. Like, if you start a project, you got to see it through, even if it doesn't happen that day, because the seamstress who's putting it all together is counting on you. And I remember sometimes in my teenage years when I was sewing, I just didn't make enough time, and she would be like, "Are you gonna finish that dhoti?" And then I'd be like, "I'm gonna do it," and then I didn't. Anyway, so just sticking with it, no matter what it takes.
Or communicating.
And communicating, yeah. The other thing that always blows me away about Sharnangi's mood, but also just in general sewing for the deities, is the level of opulence. You don't skimp, like she'll make this beautiful skirt for Gandharvika, and it'll have a print, and she'll say, that print will look so much nicer if we bead some rhinestones into the print. And my mind is like, oh my God, it's going to take forever. Why would you even think that? And then I'm like, oh, it does look amazing. Let's do it. Let's just stay late. Let's do what we need to do. And let's add another row of trim. Even though there's already 3 trims, the deities can handle it. And that mood, it's like my mind can get lazy, and think, well, on this one I won't add so much, or I won't do the hand beating. But the deities, they want that opulence, that extra energy, that extra touch. There's really no end to it. And we can get a little carried away sometimes and make it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but the result is amazing every time. Just that her mood of abundance and luxury without that mood of miserly or lazy. It's just always more and what the Lord wants and what's going to be best. And it's just a beautiful mood to carry into every service, really.
We really don't have any competition, except for the trim sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we get beautiful trims. My husband, when he goes to India, he will give me 1 day of trim shopping. Whatever he gets in that day, that's what we get. And sometimes we'll get they come in 8 yards. So that will only go so far. And so who gets that one, And then it has to be put aside because if you leave it in the main box, it might disappear before you get to use it. So we all work together in the beginning and try and really these ladies are so there is negotiation. But these ladies are so beautiful because it's like, well, I don't want to take that because Mahaprabhu will need it for this or Malika will need it or whatever. It's like there's a lot of consideration because we're dividing the service up, but they have to harmonize and work together. And so there's a lot of give and take and sharing, and it's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And on the amount of trim, one year I was just realizing I had so many of these sari borders, the big fat. Are we about there? And I just had a drawer full of them and they weren't getting used. And I saw this painting of, it was just Krishna, and he had this beautiful like skirt on. It was a pale yellow and it had these beautiful borders on it. And I thought, we have to do that. Let's make that into an outfit. We used 90 yards of trim in that outfit. And it was just like her skirt has 6, Malik is the one that puts it on now. There's 6 yards in her skirt. And it was just like a phenomenal thing. But we ended up counting it. It was 90 yards. That's just the trim.
I just want to say one last thing is the role of pray involved in sewing a lot. Praying for like, I hope it fit, I hope we have, although we have tons of fabrics and thread, it's like, I just hope it's enough because like we're saying it's easy. And sometimes it's just like enough and this is left. And also like Ranagi was saying, is 3-4 different people are making one outfit and it's so perfect how it's balanced, how like only one person had the vision of that outfit. But I really think it's so perfect all by Gurudev's grace. All of it is just by his mercy, by his blessings, and he come through it and just allow us to have patience, harmony, and the desire to do it, and the skills, Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity.
We want to thank you, Malika Devi, Vaidehi Devi, Shranangi Devi, and Krishna Mohini Devi. Thank you so much for sharing this treasure with us. And if you're watching us, you're here, ask for a tour. Ask for a tour. The sewing room is really a candy shop or a treasure chest with treasures and skills you can learn with these amazing ladies. Thank you so much. And in 3 minutes, we're going to start the most expected class for the Mela. One of the most. We have the amazing Srila Bhakti Bimal Badut Maharaj with us. So stay tuned. 3 minutes, we're going to be live. Dandavats.